Hello and welcome to the BetHelper betting preview. The game we're going to be looking at now is the final game in Group H. It's Chile versus Spain, so it's going to be the decider for who qualifies and who will win the group. It's scheduled for the 25th of June at 7:30 p.m. The venue here is Pretoria, so we're going to be at altitude. Having a look at the Asian handicap markets, the handicap has actually changed. Started off at Chile +1, Spain -1, so changed to Chile plus 1.25, Spain minus 1.25, so that indicates a bit of support for Spain. Even still, actually, sorry, that's actually changed back down now to one handicap, so that's Chile +1, Spain -1. So that would indicate a lot of support for Chile at the plus 1.25 handicap market. So again, we'll monitor now, see if that will change again, see if the who drifts and whose odds shorten. Have a look at the unders and overs market. The over 2.5 goal market has shortened and now it's staying flat, so they're expecting a few goals there in Asia. Having a look at the betting exchanges, the betting exchanges have Chile flat. They actually drifted slightly during the week, but now they're back to flat at 8.2. Spain are shortening, no surprise really. They were at 1.52, they're down to 1.51, now they're down to 1.5. The draws shortened for a while, now it's after drifting again, it was 4.5, went down to 4.4, now it's up to 4.6. And the over 2.5 goal market has shortened. It's now down to 1.98. So they're expecting a few goals there. It's about even with the unders market. The unders slightly shading it at the moment. Have a look at the percentages matched at the betting exchanges. There's only about 600,000 matched at the moment, so not a great deal. I would expect this game to maybe even hit 10 million before kickoff. So again, we're about 24 hours away from this game, so that is to be expected. No surprise here that Spain have most of the support. They've 94% of the bets matched so far. Might be a bit skewed since there's so little placed, but even I think that's a little bit too much placed on Spain. They had a similar amount on Switzerland, and they actually lost that one. And Chile are far and away a better side than the Swiss. And Chile only have 4% support here, while the draw only comes in at 2%. So not much support there for anything else other than a Spain victory. Have a look at the over 2.5 goal market. The over 2.5 market has 56% on the overs, so that's 44% on the unders, so they are expecting goals in this one. Having a look at the bookies, the bookies have Chile flat in the week at 7s. They've Spain flat at 1.5, and they've the draw slightly drifting at 4.2 out from 4s. At the bookies, they also have the over 2.5 goal market shortening. It's was at 1.95, now it's at 1.9. So they are expecting goals there. It's actually shorter than the unders there. So having a look at the form, Chile's form is actually excellent. It's one of the few teams that has a clean record. They have 6 wins in their last 6 games. They won both of their previous group games 1-0. 1-0 against the Swiss last time out, and 1-0 in their opening game against Honduras. They should have beaten Honduras by more, and they should have also beaten the Swiss by more, but I think they'll take both victories. They're probably a little annoyed that Switzerland actually beat Spain, and that they didn't beat Honduras by more than 1 goal. Whereas if they lose to Spain and Switzerland put two past Honduras, then the Swiss will be going through in their place on goal difference. Have a look at Spain's form. They have 5 wins and 1 defeat in their last 6 games. Obviously that defeat was against Switzerland in their opening game. They beat Honduras 2-0 out. Should have been a hell of a lot more. David Villa missed a penalty, and they had numerous other chances. So it looks like they're coming back into a bit of form, but again, Honduras are the weakest team in this group. Looking at the head-to-head stats, there have been 7 previous meetings, and Spain have actually 6 wins, so they're dominating the head-to-head stats. Looking at the streaks, the last time Chile won 2 games in a row was in 1962. They actually got to the semis in that tournament, so I will be hoping for that to happen again, as I have backed them at 90 to 1 to win the tournament. They're now down to about 40s, so if they progress again, I'll look to lay off and capture some profit there. Spain have won their last 38 games when they've scored. Obviously, they didn't score against the Swiss, so that game is excluded from that stat. Still, it's a very impressive record for a team that usually does score. They've obviously been on a tremendous run since the World Cup in 2006, and where they ended up winning the European Championships in 2008. Chile have scored a single goal in each of the last 5 games, so I think they'd be happy if they scored one and if they kept a clean sheet. Villa scored Spain's last 3 World Cup games. They haven't really been scoring for fun, even though you'd expect them to. Villa is their main man, really, especially at the international level. He's a far better record than Torres. Spain have only won 4 of their 12 World Cup games against South American opposition, so the South American teams are the bogey side for them. Spain generally don't perform at the World Cup, but it's a pretty telling stat that they struggle against the South American sides. Chile have actually a record in this tournament. They've only conceded 1 shot on target in their 2 opening games. I know their quality of opposition wasn't the best, but even Spain gave the Swiss and Honduras more shots on target, so read into that what you will. Chile have kept 5 clean sheets in a row, so that's very, very good. I think they will face their biggest test against Spain, but having that confidence is very important. Spain have the most shots in this World Cup so far. They've had 37 efforts. No one has come near that, really. And just as I'm going through this, Japan have scored, so it looks like they're going through at the expense of Denmark. I actually have Japan minus 0.25, so I will probably look to lay off that now after doing this. So looking at the rankings, Spain rank 2nd according to FIFA and 2nd on the ELO rankings. Chile rank 18th on FIFA and 10th on the ELO rankings, so they're in pretty good form there. The referee for this one is Marco Rodriguez. He's from Mexico. He refed the Germany-Australia game. Bit of controversy there in the sending off of Tim Cahill. He gave 5 yellows and 1 red. He's refed 55 international games. He's given 255 yellows, given an average of 4.64 yellows per game, which is a bit higher than what we've become accustomed to. He's given 40 red cards in those 55 games, given an average of 0.73 reds per game, which is exceptionally high. I think it's the 2nd highest of all refs at this tournament. He's given 21 penalties, giving an average of 0.38 penalties per game. So again, that's a little bit above average. The injuries in this one, Iniesta looks like he's going to miss out with his thigh injury, and Valdivia for Chile looks like he's set to miss out. Looking at the goals scored in qualification, Chile have an average of 1.8 goals scored, and they conceded just an average of 0.8 goals scored, which is pretty impressive given that the South American qualifying is the toughest, and we've kind of seen that with the South American sides all doing very well and actually undefeated as yet. Looking at Spain's record, they had very, very impressive qualifying. They won all 10 of their games. They've an average of 2.8 goals scored per game, while you conceded only an average of 0.5 goals scored per game. So that's very, very impressive from them. Looking at the probabilities, computer probabilities only gives Chile a 13% chance of victory. They give 73% to Chile, or to Spain, sorry. So again, heavy favourites there, while the draw is only 14%. If you compare that now to the implied probabilities, it gives Chile a 12%, so that's pretty much the same as the computer probabilities. Gives Spain a 67%, so that means that Spain are even a little bit of value here at their price, while the draw is at 21%, so that's a bit higher than what the computer was, which again we're accustomed to. Looking at suggestions, I'm tempted by Chile +1. Definitely looking at the overs, but again, we'll have to see what happens tomorrow. Check out twitter.com/bethelper for those for the updated tips and any feedback below. And now I'm going to lay off my Japan bet. So thanks for listening.